What's up, everybody? We are in the quarterfinals of the Trash Bowl tournament. I'm here by myself. It's the most wonderful time of the year, everybody, because JJ's playing. He's not sitting here, not taking up space. Perfect scenery. I'm doing this all alone. We have JJ versus Iustin. They're getting ready right now, and we have a pretty good match on our hands. JJ somewhat luckily advanced to the first round because his opponent had to retire from the tournament. Iustin has a hard-fought win, so he's got a pretty good showing under his belt already. He's definitely earned his spot so far, and we have Iustin with his classic lineup of Highlander Rogue. We have the Galakrond Warlock and the Galakrond Warrior, as we're gonna get into the game here. JJ, we haven't seen his lineup yet, but JJ is once again repping TrashcanTV, loud and proud. He's got the Murloc Shaman, the current budget Murloc Shaman. He also has a Token Druid, which is banned, by the way, by Iustin. He has a Face Hunter and a Galakrond Zoo Warlock, which is the only ones that are going to be available to him here. On Iustin's side, his Quest Druid is going to be banned, so we'll have a fun little game here. See if this all works, no glitches, all great. We have JJ on the bottom, bringing out the Hunter. I told him to do so, I'll admit it, I'll be the first one to say it. I told him, JJ, you gotta play the Hunter, and he's playing the Hunter. Though JJ is not in the room right now, he is on the other end of the building. He cannot hear me, which is obviously preferable. We got Iustin on top, JJ on bottom. Iustin, or Justin, because he's gonna call him Justin for the matter of for the purpose of this whole thing, because his name is complicated in its pronunciation. So from now on, it's Justin. JJ tracks, finds a kill command here, decides to forego that sharpshooter for maximum damage, and Justin on the top with the Warlock. Not much to go with. JJ's gonna be looking to win this game. This is gonna be a very important one. Just presses the hero power. Doesn't have any 1-drops, so that's sort of unfortunate. Usually when you get one of those explosive ones like your toxic reinforcements, you're obviously off to a very good start. Hasn't seen it so far. I'm expecting Face Stalker. Now he draws Animal Companion though, so he's probably going to play the Huffer and just hit 4 into the face, and then play Face Stalker plus hero power next turn. There we go. Fun fact, by the way, when I say it's Huffer, it's always Huffer. It's just a fact. And it's also the one that you probably most desire here. Devoted Maniac coming in. He's going to clear this up, get his first invocation out for Justin here. The health total is really his most important resource in this matchup, since the Face Hunter can deal such burst damage. I'm expecting to see Face Stalker just hero power here. JJ tends to play this stuff really quickly. So we're going to see, we're probably going to see a fast match. If I had to take the over-under on 45 minutes, I'll definitely take the under on this entire match. Even though it might be a close one, JJ is a fast player. He likes to rely on instincts and just go. Justin, with the more control-heavy lineup, maybe is going to take his time a little bit more so, but we'll see as we go along here. Let me remind you, by the way, as we are starting to get into this, to drop a like on this video to support these competitors. Of course, one of them is JJ, but nevertheless, he warrants some support. And Justin, obviously, for their great work, their dedication, and the elite Hearthstone that we're getting to see in this tournament. So definitely like this video for a little bit of appreciation, and that will be a great gesture from your side. You can also subscribe to this channel, obviously, if you want to see more of this. And if you don't want to miss anything whatsoever anymore in the future, join our Discord server. Link to that's in the description. The whole organization of the tournament goes down. You can meet every single competitor because everything's happening in there. We are obviously in there, so if you want to hang out, talk Hearthstone, get closer to the community, maybe at some point compete yourself. It's an open tournament. That's all those things you can do when you're a member of the Discord server, which is free. Link in the description. We'll see you there soon. But now for the game, Justin has developed some board. Veiled Worshipper coming down. Very good curve play, I think. He's got the invocations out early, and he's getting the resources in. Sack Pack is a key card. He has both of them on hand. Uses the first one. Who uses the second one too. So he's not taking any risks whatsoever. He knows what this Hunter is capable of. He's saying no mas. I'm not going under 15 at any point in this matchup. It's not going to happen. I'm gonna win this game from the top, and always keeping a lookout on my health total, which is a very important resource, obviously. JJ has 2 kill commands in hand. That's going to lead to an explosive turn later down the line. I'm just going to predict that right now. His one objective is to chip away at that face health. That's all he can do. There's no value game to be won. He needs to kill his opponent so that he's dead, and that's his only chance to win this game. But it's a good strategy, obviously, with a deck constructed for it. You see Dragon's Breath on the hand for Justin. That's going to be an important resource because that's 4 damage with lifesteal. And also this taunt is not exactly a bad idea. Picks up a sharpshooter here. No beasts immediately to activate this kill command for an efficient dealing with the taunt. He's gonna push that hero power face. Now he had the opportunity to obviously clear this taunt up with the sharpshooter, hero power, and the bow, but he decides to go ultra aggressive. And you gotta wonder if this is really gonna pay off for him here. See what he decides to go with. It's Justin now. Still has the breath obviously on hand, so some healing potential always there. He's taking his time, and I think it's always the right decision to do so if you have it. You don't want to make any stupid mistakes, and as the control deck, you always want to sort of think, what's the maximum amount of damage that my opponent's list can produce, given the mana cost that he has. So he's at 19 now, he's got a big board advantage, he's sitting pretty. Look for him to clear off everything or anything JJ puts on the board, get healing in, play taunts, and just take control and swallow up this matchup. So I'm expecting the sharpshooter to go the way of orange golf balls here. Is going to be killed, I would imagine. But he's taking it very slow, is Justin, and that's fine. JJ is showing off his freezing traps. Yes, you have freezing traps. Now that demon sack, okay, it still makes sense. He's going to play the Galakron. Can't disagree with it. Gets a jumbo shrimp from it, big time. And now he's got all this overwhelming damage on the board. Hoffer is not going to help JJ in this situation. It seems like he's not going to get there. It can activate one of your kill commands, obviously, and he's going to go for that. Likely he's going to push it into the face, along with the hero power. Now he knows that he has a misdirection up, so optimally 2 things will not hit the face that otherwise it would. And he's not going to attack either, so we're going to see the Kronks here, big time, and you got to wonder if Justin's already seen some lethals. Gives it +2/+2. Now how do you play around with that misdirection? What do we look? He's going to go with the smallest one. If it hits, yeah, I think it doesn't matter what it hits. I think because you're not gonna kill oh, because it kills a 7/3 maybe, but I think he should be winning. I think he should be winning either way, because he still has the 4 damage spell on hand also. And yeah, this is now an easy lethal for Justin. Flipped the script on him there, went all out aggressive and puts the Warlock away. Easy 1-0 lead seemed quite effortless for Justin. You gotta wonder now, if you're JJ, obviously, do you go back to Hunter? You know you're confident in your deck. If you're JJ, you have experience with the Hunter, you have experience with the Druid. It's banned, you don't have access to it. You like the Murloc Shaman because you've played it, but the Galakron Zoo Warlock is on paper the stronger deck. Maybe you're a little less confident with this. So what do you go with? If I had to guess, I have an inclination JJ will stick with the Hunter, but he's gonna have to make sure to win. Preferably his next game if he wants to climb back into the match with the lineup that he has, which is a very aggressive one, obviously. So you generally don't want to be behind 0-2 in any Hearthstone match, really. But with an aggro lineup, it's all the harder to really deal with this. And if you're Justin, what do you do? Rogue is possible, Warrior is possible. You might meet him. Both of them, I want to argue, a little bit more aggressive. He's gonna go with the Warrior here. That's his most aggressive deck that he has available. It is a better value machine than a Hunter that JJ is bringing up again, but it's also an aggressive counterpart, so gonna be an interesting matchup for sure. JJ this time valuing the curve on his mulligan. He has a sharpshooter, has a face stalker, quite important. I wonder if we're glitching out here because we're not seeing the mulligan cards now. Stuff is still moving out. We're all good. Takes a while sometimes, the spectation stuff, you know. There's the cards, there's a tracking, and a toxic reinforcement, so JJ has really all he can ask for in his starting hand here. I'm expecting to see toxic reinforcements. I think that's just the type of person JJ probably is. Towncrier, on the other hand, though, we have a really good hands for both people. You have 2 invocations into a Sign of Ruin. If you're Justin, which is almost the perfect curve that you want, same goes for JJ, is going to play this side quest here. And expect a lot of pushes of that button number 2 with the hero power. Also Chopper, yeah, and he's gonna start just invoking away. More than likely, we'll see Awaken next turn into that Sign of Ruin, and clamping down on this board. Draws the Animal Companion there. Now, Face Stalker, probably, he could Hero Power, just trying to get the quest done. That's what he's going to do. He might play the Face Stalker next turn and coin a Hero Power, just for the extra value. That's probably one of his favorite uses of the coin. Awaken would be my picky for Iustin. Just sets you up perfectly for the value turn on 3. And take this board over, and that's what we're going to see here. Second invocation, and he's also pushing a lot of face damage himself here with these invocations. So, nothing to overlook there. Let's see if he goes to the Face Stalker play or decides to play the Animal Companion instead. Gonna pull out the Face Stalker, and yeah, and he's gonna coin that Hero Power. Picks him up a secret, and just advances that side quest, which is gonna be hugely important, of course. Those Leopard Gnomes are gonna be dealing a lot of damage once they are actually being summoned. And Sign of Ruin seems kind of tempting here. That's a good play, obviously, by Iustin, just freezy trapping, testing for the secrets. If it's explosive, you don't want your Scions to die, so very well ordered there. That Face Stalker is no longer part of the living world, and he's got 2 minions on board now, so good curve for both these players. Picks up a misdirection there, and I think it's a correct play. If you're JJ, he's gonna push the Hero Power with it, complete that quest, and best case scenario, that misdirection is gonna kill both of Iustin's minions. But those 2 Leopard Gnomes are here to do some damage. They're definitely gonna be wreaking some havoc. So JJ likes to see that. Still more damage potential on hand, but he has to be fast with it because Iustin is collecting up a pretty good hand with answers and push potential by himself. So let's see what he decides to go with here. He might go into the tank a little bit, if you will, because he has several options. Maniac is possible. It really depends a lot on, do you want to clear these guys up, these gnomes? You just want, they look like goblins, by the way. I don't know why they're called gnomes. They look like goblins, but hey, I'm not one to judge, really. If you want to be 2 foot tall and green, go ahead. It's not my time nor my place to judge you for that. Picks up the misdirection and gets the big hit. Big time for JJ. That's an important one. That misdirection. That was a good break, and he really needed that because now he's sort of in the driver's seat. It's gonna be his turn, and he's gonna get that damage down. Expecting to see maybe an Animal Companion, maybe he's gonna go Timberwolf with it. I'm expecting him to also sack both of those Leopard Gnomes off. No, looks like he's gonna go face with everything here. Keep the value on the board, that's what I always say. A lot of damage potential now from JJ, and Iustin caught obviously a pretty tough break with that misdirection there, going the worst possible way. That's how Hearthstone is sometimes. Usually it's Battlegrounds that works that way, but sometimes even Constructed isn't completely free of Murphy's Law showing up. So Iustin on the back end of that here, but gonna have to find a way to climb back into this. And Devoted Maniac is a way to deal with this pig for sure. Has got the Inner Rage in hand right now. Useful to ping off some goblins or gnomes, as they would like to be referred to. I don't believe it, but they claim themselves to be gnomes. I think they're goblins, but cool. Might kill at least one of them. And with the invocation, he can definitely clear the board up, but he's gonna take sizable damage in the process. So some decisions are to be made. He's actually gonna put it on his own Snip Snap, and he's gonna Bloodsworn it for the value. It's an interesting choice for sure. Hoffer still needs to go, obviously, and now he's putting stuff on the board. He could even Bloodsworn it again, or he goes Towncrier because he wants to get that Hero Power push in, which I think is a wise decision here. Opens up a little bit of an Unleash the Hound's turn for JJ, which is another 5 doggies that are coming in. Going to be doing some damage, and he's going to be tracking out here, I would imagine, for boss. Another Unleash the Hound is also interesting. I would have to imagine you sack your gnomes, you play the Unleash and a Timberwolf and just go to town, right? Yeah. Create the biggest possible board for him there. This is actually winning? No, it's ever so slightly not winning. Wait, it is winning. It's not winning. Is it winning? No, it's not winning. He's one off. With the rapid fire, he's got 13. Bit of a kerfuffle, but that was, I'm fairly certain, the best that JJ could have done in this situation. So Not quite. And he sees it, he's done the math, obviously. It's not quite lethal. It's close, though. Actually used 2 of them for a trade. Is gonna leave him sitting there at 6 mana, saying at 6 health, saying I'm gonna take this down next turn, and this would be a huge win, obviously, for JJ. And Justin with a big challenge here. You got to clean this up. You kind of allowed yourself to have the hounds unleashed upon you a little bit there. So maybe the whiteboard strategy wasn't necessarily the best idea if you have that in mind. But yeah, all these bots are gonna take some dogs out. They let the dogs out, so to speak, and but how do you really defend you? You see a lot of damage. Those 2 rapid fires are 4 damage on JJ's hand. You have to hero power if you don't want to die with those and hero power. You could hero power and play the maniac, which would help you take out the sharpshooter, but you're playing on thin ice here if you're Justin, for sure. But that's usually how these matchups happen to look against the Hunter. That's kind of how this just goes. He'll have to find ways to hang on. I think hero power every turn is almost mandatory. There is Unleash, a possibility opening up for JJ once again if he goes to wide on this board. And that's going to seal his fate for sure. Uses the hero power very wisely. I strongly agree with that. Explosive Trap drawn for JJ. But there's an Unleash the Hounds. And is this a lethal, by the way? This is 3. This is 5. And he looks to be 1 off once again. So Justin is carrying the 1. I mean, he's thinking about the cards that JJ might have and combinations that he might just barely survive. Seems to be taking another trade. Those rapid fires are going to be dealing your damage. I mean, they're 4 damage instantly from hit. Hero power just goes face. It's going to put up this explosive trap, and it's kind of coming to an end for Justin. If you don't get what you need, that's not what you need. So there doesn't seem to be a proper defense against this. You play your devoted maniac, but what do you really have? The best you can do, you don't have a taunt. You can go to 6 health, and with the hero power, and JJ can just clear that up from his hand. So Justin is gonna think about this. He might chuck up a prayer with a town crier, but that's not gonna get him anything. Yeah, Sign of Ruin. No taunts. No taunts. He can only get to 6 health, and this is gonna be tied at 1. And JJ has found a way by the hair on his chinny chin to get back into this game with his Hunter. Just ever so slightly, he's gonna edge this out. And that means we have a game, folks. That means we're going to Disneyland, because it's gonna be interesting when people have to reach for their secondary, tertiary decks and really grind out until the end. Gonna hit the hero power there, but I think he knows in the back of his head that this is not winnable. JJ could track if he wants to be fancy, just find something funny or something. Let's see what he goes. Maybe he wants a Leroy. A Life Drinker is cool. Maybe he wants to play a Huffer or something. Maybe a Kill Command. Anything's fine. Whatever you want to do, just win the game. And you'll be good if you're JJ. So he'll be set. Picks up the Life Drinker there. Why not? You know, like a tribute to Shotterwalk. Why not? And with the aimed hero power, it's not even going to reveal any of the rapid fires. So that's interesting. I like this strategy from JJ. He's not going to give his opponent any insight whatsoever on those 2 cards that he's been holding on to there for like 5 turns. So it's gonna leave him guessing, which is good, man. JJ, you can tell that JJ plays poker in his free time sometimes. He definitely knows when to hold him, knows when to fold him, and in this case, he held him big time. He held the aces in the basket. Obviously, we're tied at 1, and both people have to make a decision here. Does Justin go back to the warrior? JJ has the warlock and the shaman. Shaman is the relatively classical Murloc shaman minus Scargill. It's a very aggressive build, obviously, heavily inspired by the Rise of Shadows version still, which sort of brought that archetype into infamy once again. Justin has a more varied selection, decides to pick the warrior up, and JJ hits the warlock. So this should be a very interesting one. This warlock doesn't have the consistent firepower of the Hunter due to lack of hero power. Though it does have a more explosive early game if you can get wide and get those invocations out, especially with your knife jugglers, which JJ already has one in the mulligan. But Justin also not a slouch when it comes to cards here from the start. He's got his Town Crier, that's a good one drop. He has both Awakens, so there's your two invocations right at the top, and Galakrond now Tron. And I think if he gets around to, he'll play the Galakrond as soon as possible too, because it's one of the better control tools that you really have. Expecting to see this Knife Juggler here just to keep those minions coming. Get them extra chip damage is very, very important for a Warlock like this. He might decide to Awaken here, and that seems to be what he's going to do. Don't think he can leave any of this alive, especially the Knife Juggler. So that's gonna be banished here. Smart decision in my opinion. The Warlock isn't the best at resources, so Justin is gonna have to take some of these hits to sort of take control of the game here. Worshipper is a key card for JJ, no doubt. He needs to get the invocations in. Once that happened, Worshipper is a big reload. And we're just going to see another Awaken here. Justin is very consistent in his strategy. I mean, you get the invocations out, you take stuff off the board. We're not having it. We're not going to allow any Grim Rally shenanigans, as we see it right there. We're not allowing any cascading, any snowballing of what JJ is trying to put down on the board. Another tap, and now I have two Sea Giants, and those nothing small to really enable them. So that's a little bit unfortunate. Sign of Ruin active, carbon copy off his last game. Major board control here for Justin. And JJ already needs to find a way back into this. Shield of Galakrond's a good play. Watch him play the one he just drew 100%. Obviously, you never give your opponent more information. Listen, if JJ is a master at one thing in Hearthstone, it's at the mind game stuff. Never give your opponent more information than they need to know. If you have a copy on hand, you draw one, you play the one you drew, so they are none the wiser about the card that you've been holding on to. Very, very smart stuff. Shield of Galakrond right away saying no, you is Justin, and he's gonna probably take everything out here. Having his Galakrond ready to go whenever he wants it, really starting turn 7, but he might even have the patience to upgrade it more. Dragonblight Cultist is a pretty good card actually, because of for one, you get the invocation in, which is going to help your Worshipper later, and also to enable your Sea Giants. He's going to decide to go with the shield first, and I can't say I hate it. Does he decide to go Grim Rally here? I don't think so. And he won't. Now you see another Sign of Ruin on the hand for Justin. That is, of course, major. Picks up Devoted Maniac, and he's going to go with the Chopper. Playing full board control, and you can't really blame him. His deck is the more that has the higher longevity in this matchup, and he's putting that to full use. Still hitting his face into walls, just to preserve as much board as he possibly can. And by the way, JJ's at a lower health total also. So this is some major problems, and really, how do you even mess with this at all if you're JJ? I mean, you're looking at really just 1 point of damage that you can do with the board, and nothing you can really take off for your opponent at all, basically. So your opponent has a perfect lethal, which you can see, which is 13, and there's nothing you can do about it. You can draw here and try to find whatever, but what is whatever? None of this is ever. This is just... It seems like this is actually over. You can play your Dragonblight Cultist, have some fun, but you can't take a single point of damage off the board with a full hand, which is an issue with the Warlock. Expect JJ to just nuke himself with the Flame Imp. So let's go Dragonblight Cultist there for the show, for the memes. But Justin has been doing the math in his brain. Obviously, I would imagine 13 damage perfectly. And I'm not expecting him to play any cards here. He's gonna... Oh, okay, he's gonna show off with the Galakrond. Sure, why not? See, JJ would have not played anything, probably, if he was being serious. Because you can't let your opponent know what you got. But he plays the Galakrond just to show I'm a dragon now, and I'm gonna hit you in the face with a bigger weapon. Who needs a 1-2? I got a 5 attack. There we go. We're not doing this cleanly. This is Slaughter, it says Justin. 2-1 lead. And JJ is gonna be staring at this this control warlock from Iustin coming up and thinking, God, how do I get through this? Because God knows that JJ's lineup isn't the best against control. Iustin has, I want to argue, his best matchup still coming up, which is gonna be the rogue. So if you're JJ, sort of, you have to sort of make up your mind here. What do you want to bring? You have the shaman. You can go back to your warlock, which at this point is really a question of which one do you trust more. And we'll have to wait and see what that's going to be. But Iustin 2-1 lead, sitting comfortable, sitting pretty. He has to win one game to advance to the semifinals in the European Conference, which would be a big step for a newcomer. He's playing for the first time, so definitely trying to make his name known in the community. JJ, you seeing there with, I mean, an all-time starting hand right away with the Murloc Shaman there. That's just what you love to see. Murloc War Leader is just, in the first returns, is basically the nuts you can ever ask for with this deck. And you're doing a really good job with it right now, obviously. Decides to actually mulligan some stuff and arguably even improves the curve there, so nothing to complain about there. You see an Advent Van Cleef and a Spirit of the Shark, so Iustin might be looking at early shenanigans music. If he can get the combo activation there, some big Advents could emerge if he's doing it the right way. But we're gonna see what actually happens here. JJ picking up the coin early. I know he wants to play this angler, but it's not a good idea, JJ. Keep your curve. Don't interrupt yourself. You're gonna have time to go with that when it's time to go. Obviously, nerf version no longer 2-1, which is gonna cost him 1 damage here. But that's life. It was a very strong card in the beginning, so I can only really agree with this. Now we're gonna see the angler. Yeah, he has to coin it this turn because he was overloaded, obviously. So I think it's a wise decision to probably play this, and I think he was right doing so. It's gonna be removed, obviously, because no one has time for this and to mess with this stuff. Big Advent, well, big is relative, but 4-4 is against a Murloc Shaman pretty big because they're not the best at dealing with this. See what JJ actually decides to go with here. Yeah, he's looking for some kind of Earth Shock or something. Lightning Bolt could help him, but not quite enough this turn. He's gonna pick it up, future damage in mind, and take care of that Advent next turn. Not the position you want to be in as the all-out aggro deck, and that's what Murlocs usually are. You're sort of on your on the back burner here, and there's the first invocation, lacking value to the hand. For Iustin, he's gonna take care of this stuff, just has the bigger stats on the board right now. JJ needs to climb back into this quickly. Those two War Leaders from hand, not as effective as you like him to be, because his development got interrupted early and often by Iustin there with the dagger and the backstab, and he just didn't allow Murlocs to stick, which is really how you have to treat this deck. When you're playing against it, never allow it to even catch on, and get those War Leaders to really expand their value and make themselves known. Spirit of the Shark seems like a very interesting play here. He obviously has to face his Lackey or the cat to go with it. So let's go face his Lackey here. Gonna summon two things. That is a pirate, and this, by the way, just in case you didn't know this, I made this card. This card was designed by me. It had a different name and a different stat line. Blizzard just stole it, printed it, and never gave me credit. I can prove it if you really care. Message me on Discord. I literally made this exact card, and it was printed without credit a month later. But this is not about me. This is about JJ and Iustin. You're picking up some of the Echo Anglers here, playing two of them down. That Spirit of the Shark, though, is going to put some work in. And if this Lackey lives, it's going to put some extra work in. Because, and Hogwagger obviously active and on hand. I'll be shocked if Iustin is actually going to not play this Hogwagger. Yeah, and JJ is now thinking I should have probably killed this Lackey, and that's probably correct. Wanderer's Wand, looking to close this up pretty soon. And Zarok's Crown. The value, he has more value in two cards right now than JJ has in his entire deck, and since he also has the board, that's probably sad news bears if you're JJ, because that's really your only out to have any chance of winning this. Now you have to get a fluke board to stick, maybe find the Soul of the Murlocs, get a fluke board to stake and major bloodlust damage to the noggin. But Justin is going to do his best to prevent all that. So we'll see a little bit underwhelming War Leader. He's going to be able to kill this Toggle anyway. With the combined might of all this stuff. Leaves the Spirit of the Shark just sitting around. Wouldn't be surprised if we see Wanderer's Wand and some major stuff here. But he's well in his right to obviously think about this. Winner of this match, by the way, is going to go on to face Maxa in the one of the two European semi-finals of the European Conference. And starting with that, those matchups are going to be massive here. That Spirit of the Shark, actually, you don't know it, but it transformed it twice. Doesn't help you with anything, but it surely happened. He's also holding his treasures back. That Mogul Flesh Ripper is a dead card now. You can play it, kill the Spirit. It's not what you want to see. With an empty hand and empty board. Their power level just is by far the lowest. He really has no other choice is the thing though. He could have played the War Leader. Let's go with the Flesh Ripper instead. And Justin really doesn't have much pressure he's looking at right now. He has ways to go. And I wouldn't be surprised to see some of these treasures being pulled out here. Wanderer's Wand. 3 free cards coming up. There's a Fence, why not? There's a Ziliax, yes please. And there's a miscreant for extra lucky, so the value is there. Xerox Ground is going to pick himself probably a Mechathune here, just why not, saying, you know, I'm taking this. He could have stacked the Ziliax on top of it for extra flexing and dunking, but he decides not to. Oh, he missed it. Oh. Didn't, man, Justin, if you didn't emote there, I would have thought you just wanted to do it that way. Don't emote, man. People might just think your mistakes were on purpose. But, yeah. JJ has a War Leader and a Bloodlust, so sure, the Fence, why not? That Ziliax on the Mechathune would have obviously been filthy. Probably see JJ fling a fish, roll a totem, and call it GG's. Because this is pretty gross, but that's what Toggle does to you, and all of that the result of taking a risk on JJ's side, leaving a lackey sit around, and hitting an extra 2 into the face. So. Gotta fling a fish, nothing that'll save me. Obviously, even Amalgam, Battlegrounds Legend, not gonna help him here. He's gonna play it, why not? But he's looking at 2 Mechathunies right now. There's a Vendetta and obviously he has Galacron in hand too. If he felt like he can trade something off, you know, smear the Alexstrasza in JJ's face if he wants to. But Justin is gonna find the safest route to take this all the way home and move on to the semifinals, where he's going to be competing against Maxa, which by the way is going to be a fantastic match. Seems like he spotted some kind of GG's. See him going face there. Yeah, he can push he can push literally 1 off, provided he doesn't get anything, any sort of cheap shots out of Alexstrasza, which he won't. Very likely. Could pick up a Caligos into Pyroblast. Seems like a mage thing to do, rogue thing to do. I don't know. Yeah, decides to go Alexstrasza here. And see if we can top this off with some garbage. Why not? More value. Why not Fabling? People like the art. I like the art. It's pretty cool. There's still 2 Mechathunes. JJ has a spell damage totem though. That's, you know, it's powerful. Powerful little prick right there. I've heard War Leader is supposed to be pretty strong. JJ just passes, just tactical retreat, decides to actually open up here, hoping to run into a counter. Just kidding. Iustin or Justin, whatever, congratulations. I'm just going to call it Justin, of course. Very much congratulations. Very convincing win. We have a shot that maybe JJ might come in here if he decides to do so. He might also bail himself in the bathroom or something after this, but he might just come in here every second for an interview, and the door opens, and there he is. Perfect transition. JJ, how are you feeling about what just went down?
Dude, this was crazy.
It was kind of crazy, right? That last one?
Yeah.
Say hi to the people, Jade. He's like back there, like hey, what's up? Yeah, you just played from the living room. I'm glad you didn't kill yourself. You're still here. That's good. But Justin, I think you would agree, even though you don't want to, that he deserved to win this match.
Yeah, no, I mean definitely. I mean, he did have the stronger lineup, or at least matchup-wise, he was favored. I would argue to begin with. And there was some crazy shenanigans, but he did play very solidly. And I admittedly, I don't think I played the first match very well. The first Hunter one.
You've gotten a lot of backlash from the world out there for not killing that lackey, allowing double tog waggle. What's your stance on that? I am the community who gave you backlash.
Yeah, no, I get that. Honestly, I was just thinking, like, in this matchup, I gotta push it. I didn't really have tog waggle on the radar there too much, but also, like, it always feels bad to sack your synergy piece into some random 1-1, which of course was a synergy piece for him as well. That crown would have been preventable.
Sort of ties into what I said into set of the third game, though. You don't want to be down 2-0 or 2-1, or basically having to win, having to push for it all with an aggressive lineup or such a volatile lineup, which leads to those sort of decisions having to be made. But yeah, Justin,
I was hoping I could bully the aggro warrior a little bit more, but
he took it home pretty good. You got one out with the hunter, but the other ones just didn't really hold up there. But that's how it goes tonight. So Justin's moving on. He's going to be facing Maxa in what's promising to be a fantastic game. Already looking way forward to that. Punch that like button, and hopefully we want to see you in the Discord and on YouTube in the future. Of course, semifinals coming up after the quarterfinals round. We still have a couple more to play, but this side of the bracket in the European Conference is set. It's Iustin, Justin versus Maxa. Throw some big time hype in Discord in the comments, and both those competitors get ready because it's going to be fierce battle. So thank you for watching, and until next time, JJ.
That's it.
That's it.